First up, we're actually going to start off with a Q&A because we got 3 topics and 3 Q&A, so we got to balance this out correctly. So here we are. This one comes in from Daniel Barba, who we've talked about before. He's asked plenty of good questions. Thank you for being a big supporting member of the CBC. And he says/asks, rumors are circulating around the Inhumans and them being a part of the Marvels. How true do you think that this could be, since, you know, people are already confirmed to be in the film so far? Like, the Marvels has finished shooting, right? I want to ask that, because I think they finished shooting. Because there's been very little leaks on that film specifically.
Yeah, I want to say they were doing reshoots, but I can't remember if I'm mistaking that for a while ago or if it's recent.
I'm assuming they'll still do some reshoots because the film's still quite a bit of a ways off, so they're in the post-production right now. But I know there has been a rumor that the Inhumans could appear in it because of the whole Ms. Marvel connection, so...
Yeah, I saw something the other day where it's, you know, Ms. Marvel's going to set the idea up, and you're going to have, like, the villains are these... human Kree hybrids, and then in the Marvels you're going to have the universal human.
Yeah.
It was around November 24th to 25th of 2021 where supposedly through Instagram 2 crew members confirmed that filming for the Marvels was officially finished.
Wow, that is long.
For initial filming.
But they swapped it with Ant-Man Quantumania because it's further along. They got to be rewriting and reshooting.
They're gonna reshoot some stuff. Okay, so fingers crossed to put your Alex Jones conspiracy hat on. This has all been a false flag to put the Inhumans into the film. This is what's happening.
I mean, if it is, I've won.
Yeah.
No one can take it away from me.
I will take it. I mean, you know, the rumors are out there, and seeing how good of a reception Black Bolt got just in his quick initial appearance.
Death.
Death. We can now talk about it. It's been a month.
Yeah, he became Smooth Brain.
So I don't see, I don't see why not. So hopefully, I hope so, because they are going more space-based and cosmic. So if you're gonna do that, might as well pull the Inhumans in there. Yeah. So, why not? We got another Q&A. This one comes from who else but John, and he has a little bit of a longer one here, so I'm going to kind of, just shorten it up a little bit. And he asks, could the MCU be too expedient with the storytelling now after the Infinity Saga? And he talks a little bit about how Phase 4, how he's seen casual people talk about it differently compared to the other phases in terms of speed, progression, and how we got to where we are, and specifically even the unrealistic standards they have for people in terms of how long the story's taking to tell. Because what he's saying here is effectively true. Like, people are like, well, they're not doing the Infinity War thing. It's like, guys, it took 8 years to get to the final build of Infinity War, and we're a year and a half after Endgame. Come on.
Yeah, no, it's that people forget how long the build-up was, and they automatically assume that characters will have, like, 1 or 2, if they're in a TV series, they'll either have their arc in one or 2 episodes, or they'll already be as that character from the comics, right when the episode opens up, which is unrealistic because you want to have people connect to the characters.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's what it is. And with the casual crowd, they forget the build-up of these characters to get you invested into these characters, that they automatically assume that Phase 4 is gonna, hit the ground running and have all these characters be suited up and have these personalities already set in stone.
Yeah.
And they're just steamrolling all the way to Secret Wars, when that's not the plan. It's just that people for some reason don't want to go back to Phase 1 where you're getting introduced to new characters.
Yeah.
All over again.
I mean, my take on this is, from what I've seen, people literally want this. And they're going to say, no, that's not what I want. But if you compare it, it's the same. I've seen people literally be like, why do we have to get this build-up in the backstory? Why can't they just be the character from the comic? So it's like, did you want the Winter Soldier to just be Bucky after he's been the Winter Soldier and brainwashed and none of the backstory? Like, is that what people are asking? Because That's what it seems like, because they're like, well, they're taking too long to set up the new Avengers, and why do we got to introduce Shang-Chi and then these characters over here? Why can't they just all connect and be quickly going to the next Avengers? It's like, bro, like, the Incredible Hulk happens alongside Thor and Iron Man 2. Like, those films work that way because they established a universe and the new, connective tissue between everything. We can't just take Captain America, drop him into modern day, and have that be the first film, because then you have no history of who he is. Like, I think people are just kind of... I think they've forgotten what they're asking for, and they're just screaming at the clouds.
Well, it's like they're impatient.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And there's also the other effect to where a lot of casual fans sometimes just either get excited about the cameos when Marvel itself wasn't about the cameos or solely about the cameos. And they're there for the people who know the stories, know the characters, and it's just some extra like whipped cream on some ice cream, just just something extra for you to look out for and to get excited for the potential for the future. But for the casual fans, it's, I hope such and such is in this and such is in this, and you got like 10 to 15 cameos, where the characters in the story that they're more invested in the possibility of the cameo than the actual story that's revolved around the character itself.
That's become a major problem. So
and like, it's all, why should I care? Well, first off, apparently you didn't care about the character in the first place. You just cared about who was potentially going to show up in that story.
Mm-hmm. It's look, it is what it is, I suppose. People just want to jump ahead and ignore everything, so that's what they'll do, and I'll sit here and enjoy, I don't know, progressive storytelling. Ooh, the dangers of progressive storytelling, I tell you. It's something. Our next piece of Q&A, this one comes from Thomas Frederick, and he asks, how long do you think the MCU will truly last? Like, it's cool to think about lasting another 10 to 15 years, but do you think we'll get to a point where they may be exhausting some of the characters? Say Chris Hemsworth and Anthony Mackie will be well into their 50s at that point. So...
I mean, Robert Downey Jr. was in his 50s when doing Iron Man. Samuel L. Jackson's 17. He's still going, isn't he, Fury?
Yeah.
I mean, they can keep going for however long the MCU is profitable.
Yup.
Yeah, that's pretty much the underlying factor, isn't it? It's like, if it makes
like,
money, carry on going.
Yeah, because you have like multiple characters. Like, if you can't use Thor for a while, you know who else you could use? You can use Thunderstrike. Yeah, you can use a couple. You can use a couple of other ones too. There's a lot of other the legacy characters you can use. There's a ton of characters you could potentially use from the Marvel universe. It's just whether or not they're profitable, and whether or not they want to keep it going.
Again, for all we know, and like we've talked about this, maybe they wait to pull the X-Men out when they do a full-on reboot after Secret Wars or something properly to integrate them. Or for all we know, they could literally start winding down these characters. It's like, okay, Thor is going to become an Avengers character only because Chris Hemsworth is busy and he's producing and acting, all these other things. Same with Captain America. But guess what? We got 1,900 brands of X-Men we can now throw at everything. So, like, I do think it eventually has to end and be rebooted. You can't have, like, everybody's seen that meme. It's 2038. You got to watch 80 movies and 38 TV shows to understand whatever. It's like, we're going to get to that. And it becomes a little too much. Yeah.
It's like, you got to understand where it came from before the reboot. You got 50 film features to watch, and it's like half of your old film library. And go, there you go. Get to work.
It's no different to Star Wars beforehand.
That's true. Although Star Wars has
extended canon.
Technically, they threw out most of their canon anyway. So
they did. Hence the beforehand. Yes, now it's not like that. Before Disney, it's like he is literally an entire library of Star Wars junk. None of it makes sense. None of it's like important to anything.
Yeah, it's basically official fan fiction.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So Yeah, I think we're all agreeing. Eventually you got to get to it, but for right now, as long as it sells, it's gonna keep on selling. They got to change nothing. So, there you go.